In today's episode, I'm going to show you how to decorate a bottle to make a cute vase or a candle holder. You can use any shape or size for the bottle, whatever you prefer. As in this video, I would like to show you how to combine more elements of clay. We are going to use some of the shapes of these molds. As being my favorite brand, I'm using Jovi clay for this project too. Of course, you'll need wood glue and a brush for the glue, a palette knife to take off the excess clay from the mold, and a matte colored or primer spray to prime the surface of the glass bottle. When you work with glass surfaces, bottles or jars, I recommend to lightly spray with one coat. That is enough to make the clay stick on. As you can see, it's evenly coated with spray paint, and the reason why I would recommend matte spray or primer spray is that the glue grips better than on a gloss finish. Let's talk about the molds I'm using in this video. I am showing you one by one which of these I'm going to use. Also, all of these molds can be purchased on AliExpress. If you're starting out decorating with clay molds, I highly recommend to get these ones, as they are between 3 to 5 euros each and they hold multiple shapes. Now let's get the clay and start molding the pieces out. I'm using Jovi, but of course you can use your preferred brand of clay. After taking a chunk, I am molding out every piece that I will need. As you can see, after taking off the excess, I am leaving the clay in because it's less likely they dry out by the time I finish, therefore they're easier to work with. So when I work with more pieces, I usually lay them out first so I can see the design that I'm happy with in the end without gluing it onto the surface. This gives me freedom to change anything in the process. When you're happy with the pattern you want to glue on, I suggest to secure your bottle in a slanted horizontal position so it will be easier to glue everything on. Usually I check where the first piece is going to be. This way you see if the design is going to fit or not. This might be a useful tidbit. If you have a dried piece of clay left over, you can shape this out and make a brush holder for yourself. And we can start gluing the pieces onto the bottle now. So I just realized that I put them up a bit too high, but not to worry, if the glue is fresh, you can just slide them down a bit and changing their placement. When you do this, be as gentle as possible so you don't make an indent into the clay. You can wipe the glue off with a baby wipe or a moistened paper towel if you want. It's not very essential as the glue dries very flat and it's barely visible after you add some paint. Do this if you want to get a cleaner design, but I believe imperfections often gives more character to your creation. And it's all done now. Now let's continue gluing the remaining pieces on. Remember that you don't really need a lot of wood glue on the clay pieces, but make sure that it covers it evenly. You can see that they can be glued on the top of each other and the pieces can overlap, creating different effects. When you are done with every piece, you need to wait until everything dries so you can paint it. You can make the drying time less by placing the bottle in direct sunlight, but I usually leave it for a night. When everything has dried fully, I paint the clay parts first with black matte paint so the white parts won't show through. Depending on what color you use for the base paint, I recommend to do the same with that color. Make sure you really pay attention to properly cover all the crevices with the paint. If necessary, go over painting it one more time. You can actually cover the whole bottle if you want or if you have time. Now we have the base color, so we can put another on the top. For this project, I use a deeper turquoise color and I'm applying it with a bristle paintbrush to achieve an uneven paint coverage for a more antiqued effect. You don't need a lot of paint as we are using a dry brushing method. Try not to get a lot of paint into the crevices so the black paint can show through. This is how the bottle is gonna look like after 2 coats of brushed on paint. What I'm going to do now is highlight everything with antique gold paint. This acrylic paint is one of the best and one of my favorite one. If you have patina, you can use it as well for this step. I just put a small amount separately and I am going to use my fingertips to paint. You can use a brush too, but be careful not to use a lot of amount at once. When you're done with the gold paint, you can actually cover everything to protect your artwork with spray varnish, either matte or gloss. After that, you can use this bottle as a vase or a candle holder. I hope you like this project. Thank you for watching.